Hi, welcome, sisters. This is Jonita D'souza. Welcome to our final day of the Feminine Wisdom Bite. It's day 5, and we have been journeying since Monday, since the last 4 days, as a means to get deeper into what is brewing in our feminine, what is present in our bodies, and what is coming forward during this time. So if you're watching, please let me know if you can hear me. That will be a good start. And if this is the first time you're joining this Feminine Wisdom Bite, or if you've been joining since day one, or have you watched the previous Wisdom Bites, I would love to know if these were useful to you. Just a quick recap before we begin today's amazing, fun process. In the day one, we spoke about desires and the internal conflict we have as women in owning our desires and the confusion around it. And then we went into the new moon in Capricorn inquiry, where I shared with you 4 potent um, questions that you got to look into in this first lunar cycle of 2021. And then day 3, we spoke about the difference between goal setting and visioning, and how we can set ourselves to receiving less by simply goal setting. And yesterday we spoke about receiving and release prayer, and this has been so useful to me. Sharing all of these and is a way for me to be reminding all of this wisdom to me as well. So for me, this has been a really beautiful thing to be reminded of as I'm sharing with you. Okay. So yeah, they've been these last few days have been fueling my inspiration too. Today I wanted to lighten up the energy a little bit, and look into the things that are not working in our lives. So I have this process that really helps me in identifying why some of the changes that I want to implement in my life um, uh, are not happening, and what's the reason behind it. And one of the reasons I started this 5 days of the Feminine Wisdom Bite is because the first few days of the lunar cycle are considered to be feminine in nature, which means that we have a lot of feminine energy, that wisdom that is present right now, that can be easily tapped into this resource. And hence the inspiration came to me to do these 5 days. So um, this process that I want to share today, it's going to be a really fun, quick process that it has helped me to reverse engineer my response patterns to the ways that I had been letting myself down. Now, let me know if you resonate to these when I share. We often say things that we will do for ourselves, but then we don't do it. Um, we make promises, and we don't keep those promises to ourselves, those commitments, and we let ourselves down. And in doing so, what we are doing is unconsciously weakening the trust that we have on ourselves, weakening this self trust. And then we go outside of ourselves to look into what other new information we can get to fix this aspect of our life. So let me know if you resonate with this. In my experience, I just want to briefly share that all this information that I had, I was learning a lot, and I was reading a lot, and all of this information that I had did not really lead me to whatever I wanted to achieve. And so it became a pattern for a long time, which made me question things, reframe, look into my life in ways that I could really figure out what was going on. And I used to call myself the queen of procrastination, because I would set goals, and then when the inspiration fades away, I would start making excuses to not take actions. And I was really good in convincing my own self for not taking those actions. So let me know if this resonates. You want to make a change, you want to develop a new habit, and then you start making excuses in your own mind. And you convince yourself, like you really convince yourself. And sometimes we even convince ourselves to get out of that process in the name of self-care. I have noticed that specifically for those of us who are in this personal growth. um, Let me know if you resonate with this. It's just the beauty of our human nature. So there's nothing to feel embarrassed about. We keep doing this. The funny thing about it is that we've got to lighten up a little bit and not take all of the things that are not working in our lives so seriously. So, for example, I can say one of my examples that, you know, um, let's say I had this phone call to make, and this phone call makes me feel, the idea of making that phone call was making me feel really uncomfortable. So what I would do is I would start making a lot of excuses in my mind, like, oh, I need to rest now, or I need to do some reading, or I don't feel the right energy, I'm just so tired, and do say whatever to delay it somehow and to procrastinate. And we know when we are making excuses for something important that has to be done for the day, that would really make a difference. But still, we will end up in falling into the trap of our own excuses. So let me know if you resonate, or if there is an example that you would like to share, and we can just witness you, and maybe we can also relate with you. I'd love to hear that. I think that this is really common human behavior, and we all can have a laugh about our human nature. So I want to talk to you about this process that's not widely taught, because personal development industry teaches mostly to look into the positive aspects of goal setting and improving willpower and all of that. But the feminine way is to create the right environment so that we are able to achieve our goals. So, so this is the process that we can use to pick up the ways, really pick up those nuances in the ways we trick our own minds. Now, I remember when years ago, my mentor taught me this process when I was complaining to her nonstop that I've been learning so many modalities, but I still feel like shit. I still keep getting those thoughts, and I would be happy for some time, and then I would just fall off the wagon, and what's going on? And then she would give me certain action steps to take, some kind of processes to do, and she would ask me to do it for a certain number of days. For example, do this for 7 days and notice the difference, or do this for 21 days. And I do that with my clients as well, because any deep change requires a longer period of integration, requires a period of integration. So, but we are used to we are the microwave generation. We want things fast, and it doesn't happen like that most of the times. Many times it does. So she used to give me these practices to practice. Yeah, that's why it's called a practice. And I would do that for 2, 3 days and then forget it. And then I would go back to the same emotional pattern. And she noticed my behavior, and she told me one day that, so Junita, looks like you have the time to feel like shit, but you don't have the time to face your shit. So great, you are choosing this for yourself. So what's your problem? Why are you complaining? So that actually really made my heart sank when she said that, um, said that to me. And it became clear that what I was choosing was each time I was feeling like crap, I was choosing to stay in that state for a really long time, rather than look into or stay in the ignorance of that state, run away or numb. somehow, rather than looking at the face of it and thinking what's going on, or evaluating what's going on. So let's jump straight into this process. For the purpose of this video, I would invite you to think of a habit. Yeah, a habit or a small change in your lifestyle that you would wish to cultivate for 2021. Let's say that you want to make a new habit so that you can create the you can get closer to your desire, or if there is any kind of goal or aspiration that you have, and you've been thinking about it, and you know that it requires you to develop this new habit or new perspective, or change something in you for this year. So pick up whatever it is, just one thing, and you can play with it. And that's the fun of this process. Once you learn this, you can keep doing it when you find yourself fooling yourself again into ways to pull you out of the trajectory of creating momentum for your desires. So the first step, so it's a three-step process. So the first step is pretty much identifying what is that one thing. So as I said, narrow down to one habit, one change, and share with me. I'd love to hear what it is for you. So first step is identifying, and I'll give you an example. So right now, for example, one of the things that I want to create, like a habit or a change that I want to create, is some space. Um, Basically, I want to have more time reading books. I've had so many collection of books, and I really long to spend time to read them, but there are so many reasons why I have not been doing that. So many reasons and excuses, sometimes procrastination as well. So so that's an example that I can work with, and then probably I can share as we go through the process. So think of one thing, identify that one thing that you would like to embrace or change. And then the second step is really funny. Write down at least 5 possible ways that you think you can screw this up. Yeah. And we need to have this awareness. It's funny how much we know ourselves, and allow yourself to be lighthearted about it. Okay. So let me give you some example of mine. Let's get practical with this. So I want to create a habit of devoting more time to read books. Let's say read certain books that I've been wanting, longing for, that I know that can help me go ahead in my personal and professional life. So, 5 ways I can screw this up for me. So, obviously, if I set a goal, I would go ahead and do that for 1 2 days, but it's not going to last long. I know that already. So, 5 ways. What are the quick 5 ways that I think? Um, I would first of all, this is so personal. I would first of all schedule some time in my diary to do that, because if I don't schedule anything in my diary, that doesn't get done. Specifically, something important. So this is important. Okay, so I will schedule that, and then when the time will come to do that, I would probably end up doing something else. Like I would go to the kitchen and start doing dishes, or I'd just go and start organizing my clothes or something. I'll find a task, a random task. I do this, a random task, and I start doing that instead of what I'm meant to be doing. So, so that's one of the ways. Another way could be that, oh, I'm just so tired to read right now. So best times for me to read is in the afternoons. I like to spend time like disconnect from the morning and the evening. So I like to read during afternoons mostly. And one of the other ways excuses could be that I have eaten too much of lunch. So now if I read the book, then I might fall asleep. So you see, these are the things I know I do every time I set this habit. every time I set this intention, I do this, so I can pick up on my own patterns. So really look into your own habits and the ways you respond to the to the change. Yeah, so that's another thing. And another thing I know how I can screw this up is by taking the book and going and reading it on my bed, because I know 5 minutes down the lane I'll be falling asleep. So that's also another thing. So you see, so I've given you three examples that I already know I do, and you will also have. So this is the second process, second step. So you've got to identify, pick up five things that come. In doing so, what you're doing is you're actually bringing in forth, forward the awareness that you already have, that runs your subconscious mind. And by bringing it out there, you are shifting its charge. It's important to do that. And then the third and the final step is really easy. Write a declaration down to yourself. Um, and something like, I declare that each time I feel this response pattern, I will go ahead and do what I meant to do anyway. So write down some declaration. Like for me, in my case, would be that I declare to myself that I will spend this much of time during the afternoons outside of my bed to read the book. And And when I feel that my excuses are kicking in, I will remind myself of my declarations. When I read, when I go in the morning and see my planner for the day, and I know that's the task, one of the tasks scheduled, I would read and reread the declaration. So in doing so, what we are doing is we are rewiring our subconscious mind. And you see, this process is mostly about becoming aware of your own habits and then going forth with the new habits, anyways. So, becoming aware of your existing habits of creating the excuse for the new one and going ahead and doing the new one, anyways. So, in my case, now let's say that tomorrow I go pick up my book and then I habitually I end up going to my bed to read, and I will be reminded of my declaration that no, I'm not doing it this way. I'm picking up on the patterns, and writing down your emotional pattern is a very beautiful observation, because a lot of things we know are inside of our heads, and when we bring it out, it's a funny thing. And your desires require you to stay committed to them. That doesn't mean that you will not fall out of the commitment. We are humans. We will fall out of the commitment, but we got to have the passion, the drive to recommit. I teach this in Empower Your Feminine Essence course that I run, where 1 week is dedicated to the topic of commitment itself, because I know it's such a big problem, a problem, or not a problem, but such a big area of um, conflict for us. So for me, commitment is a process of recommitting each day. I don't believe in this, I commitment for 10 years or 5 years or something. I get bored really easily, so I have to remind myself and recommit myself of my desires and recommit to them each day, as in the form of declarations. And that's what I'm asking you. Write down your declarations, read out loud. This is really crucial for you to, you know, um, build up your muscle of commitment and recommitment. So this is just one simple practice that we can integrate to embrace our human nature. I know that when I first did this practice, and even now when I do this, I really laugh out loud. Like I really come out of me, the physical form, and I'm here looking at myself and really admiring this me. Like, wow, she's so clever. She has so many excuses. to make things not happen. And um, I used to have a really hard time laughing at myself, and this is something still in progress. It's still a practice. I am deliberately choosing to laugh at my shortcomings, not to ridicule, but to lighten up the load. We've been so hard on ourselves, and there is a saying that blessed is the man who can laugh at himself, for he will never cease to be amused. And that's the gift of not taking our human nature so seriously, however, embracing our divine nature at the same time. Our subconscious mind is very good in playing games in our head. um, so we need to learn how to work our subconscious mind, and we need to learn how to play the games in ways that will serve us. And that's what the purpose of this simple exercise, simple process is, that your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is unreal. And that's the beauty. That's why you get tricked when you are on autopilot. But you can use the same trick to change the course, change the direction. So let me know if this fits, if this feels doable, if this feels interesting, or you're gonna give it a go. I'd love to hear your experience of it. And I also want to talk a little bit about the sensual lifestyle visioning kit. Many of you have asked for the link. I will be providing you the link with the replay of this email. So, in short, the sensual lifestyle visioning kit also provides you the assistance in creating the right environment, energetically, emotionally, as well as physically, to set yourself up so that each day you are led by your desires, your bigger vision, not just the daily to-do lists, because that's really tiring. So, beautiful beings, it has been such a pleasure to be with you since Monday through Friday. I hope you had a good week. I hope that this was inspiring enough for you to at least take one thing out and implement in your lifestyle, and create a beautiful year going forward. I will continue to be present to share with you more inspiration, more feminine juju. Thank you for playing along. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for choosing you, because you've got this and you deserve so much more. Despite the chaos, despite the pandemic, despite all the things that are not working in your life, all of that you desire is possible. It's available. And you may not get it right away as a whole package, but you can start receiving them in small steps. Hi, Melissa. Oh, I'm glad. Yes, thank you for showing up every single day. That's been really nice. Hi, Yolene. Melissa, I can definitely think of my excuses. Yeah, I mean, I don't know anyone who doesn't have excuses. We all do have excuses, and specifically if you're struggling with a habit or a change that we want to make for a long period of time, then we already know our response pattern to that. Yeah, for me, for a very long time, was creating space for the morning ritual to wake up early in the morning. That was a big deal. I had so many excuses. It took me years and years of practice, and right now, I just that's the main highlight of my day. I want to wake up early, and I to give myself this space. So I'll do anything for that, to get that space to do the morning ritual. But it took me years of identifying those nuggets and working with them. So that's all I've got to share. Beautiful beings, have a beautiful weekend, and I will be in your inbox with more information, and I will be sharing more about the process of visioning in the coming days.